That intro is so much fun.
Love that intro.
Schooner.
Come on, everybody. Schooner.
Good to see you, Tammy, Debbie, and Diva. Well, you're in the chat. Nice audio coffee. Good to see you, AJ. Oh, and Sally, good to see you also. Man, we have a good one for you guys tonight. We might end up finishing out this book tonight. And then we've got to figure out what we're going to do next week. Because I'm running out of TJ's stuff. We're going to have to come up with some books. We'll just do. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe Shizzy will write his spicy romance that he's been dying to do for years.
That's me, spicy romance. You know.
He was laying tile on the.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be something like that.
Yeah. Just I was grouting the tile, filling in all the cracks that needed to be filled. Oh, I had one of those damn tiles break on me. So I'm carrying this tile, and I was like, okay, well, let's see. This side's a little thinner, so I'm gonna turn it around. I turned it around. Whenever I turned it around, the tile just broke. Like I'm holding one little piece of it, and it went. It broke in 3 pieces, and I installed the damn thing anyway. I was like, it's gonna be up against the wall, and it's gonna get grouted anyway. So
yeah,
I wasn't gonna because where I got the tile from, they're closed on Sundays. I was I want this damn thing done. I'm done with it. You don't even notice it. So.
Yeah, you don't notice. You wouldn't notice it. That's the nice thing about tiles. Sometimes
you can just slate.
Yeah, especially with slate.
Well, I mean, speaking of slate and tile and all those nasty little dirty things, we've got special guest here. God, that's such a fun intro.
The rumors of a pudding pop shortage have been exaggerated.
I don't know about guest. Special.
Special.
Yes.
I'm special in a certain kind of way, folks.
So congratulations to the Vols.
All it took was a little cigar smoke, and it cleared my voice right up. It's amazing how that happened.
It's mind-boggling.
Well, congratulations.
The taste of victory.
Yeah.
It's good, especially against Alabama. That's a special kind.
Sorry to any Alabama fans. I know
I'm not sorry.
I'm
not sorry at all. Had a good time. Had a great time.
It was a good time.
Excellent. Yeah. Yep. I saw the little videos still popping
crying.
up.
She probably is.
Well, she should be.
No. Here's what's funny. How when Alabama does bad, she's like, "Well, I'm just a Pats fan anyway." No, you can't have it both ways, sweetheart.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not the way it works.
Yeah.
She's one of those fair weather fans.
She's like, well, my husband likes Alabama. Okay.
Just like sweet. I love it. That did put a little joy in my heart. Not because Caitlin's favorite team lost, but because the Vols won, so it made me happy.
Ooh, we were nervous though that first half. I was like, what is going on? And then we realized that the problem was Volstorm and I had not been consuming.
We're sober. We were sober.
And we quickly rectified that at halftime, and then we started winning.
It is funny how that happened. We were both sitting there going, okay, we know we said we didn't want to drink, but you want beer?
Yeah, you want beer?
So I go get beer, and we start winning. So
So now we know we can't be sober for the game.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Sorry.
Kind of like how
Sorry,
some people
Doc.
think they drive
I know,
better
if
when
you're
they
listening.
drink. So
Yeah. Oh, those people are not. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'll make up for it later. Right now, I have to give my all for Tennessee, including
Yes.
my liver.
I shoot better too. That's always
I'm more
right.
focused. I'm more
It's
focused.
better.
Look, I can hit all 3 of those.
It's up, Shizzy. Here in the UK, your clocks go back an hour next Sunday. So until you change your clock, you're going to be an hour earlier next
We
week.
have 2 weeks before that happens.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Freaking hate it.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to it because I hate daylight savings time.
I do too. I don't
hate
like
it.
it. Some people are pro daylight savings time. I am pro standard time.
I'd rather have a lighter later.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah.
I'd
kind
rather-
of, but I don't know. I like
I don't
standard
like
Fall
time.
back.
I don't like getting up of a morning and daylight taking forever.
Yes.
I'm like, if I'm up, there's a reason I'm up, so I have to be awake. So the sun might as well be out.
I think that silent time is just a social construct, and I
It
don't
is.
agree with any of it.
really
I
is.
should be able to wake up whenever I want to and sleep when I want to.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
agree.
need. There's no need for. There was never a need for daylight savings time in the first place because they were like, "Oh, well, it's for the farmers." Well, the farmers get up when the sun comes up and they go to bed when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
They don't need time.
Yeah. Weird. There wasn't a chat box for a minute. If you don't want me to talk, just say so. No, there's funky stuff going on with YouTube. It's not you,
Yeah.
Town.
Oh,
There's Bad Duck has been unable to chat in some people's chats for like
yeah.
a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he'll
saw him-
type in.
I saw him Friday night talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was in
but
chat
he was
Friday night.
just. But sometimes it isn't working for him.
What are you doing, Puddletown? Who'd you make mad at YouTube?
No, Bad Duck.
Oh, Bad Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just Puddletown. It's everybody's having issues with
Yeah.
it. We're probably gonna. I think they're doing a new update because the election is coming, and they want to make
Oh.
sure that.
Well, it was awful funny that this week during one of your morning chats, I made a comment about Iran and it never showed up, even though I'm a mod.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Well,
apparently not.
there's a lot of stuff they don't like. I ran so far away.
I couldn't get away.
Oh, so Kaiser will probably be joining us a little bit later on. He's out running about, and of course, we've got those wonderful people that
Do we know where his hands
we
are?
always like to have, like Miss.
Oh my.
Hey, Miss
Yeah,
Nocturne.
baby.
Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing, girl?
I love that dog.
Wow.
That
That
dog
dog
has a
is-
special talent.
Can't pet that dog.
Get up at that dog.
I like the deer. Have you seen the deer?
The elk.
Yes.
No.
The elk.
Haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Nocturne needs to see the elk.
I love that one. Okay.
Yes.
Scooter.
Scooters.
Hey,
Oh.
Scooter.
Well, it is time for chapter 8. Here we go.
Right.
Let's see. We'll move Miss Nocturne around here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll move her.
Yeah, move her up.
in-
There
Great.
you go.
Yeah.
I'm the meat
Yeah, there
in
we
the
go.
Boy, girl, boy, girl,
guys.
boy, girl.
Yeah.
He's in between a sandwich.
I think
Kind of sandwich.
You're
I
You're the meat in the
like.
sandwich.
That's right. Meow. Oh, here we
Off to
go.
a good start.
It is. We're off to a good
Yamaha,
start.
can you handle two at once?
No, I'm pretty sure I can.
Who's the cheese
I'm
here?
right where I want to be.
And where's the mayo? What?
Mm.
Well, the mayo comes later.
Aha.
Oh my god.
It's not good unless it's a little messy.
That's that special sauce.
Special sauce, lettuce, cheese.
Oh.
This is gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good
Yes.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, as you remember, Lorna showed up over at Jacob's house, and yeah, this is where it goes. This is where it goes wrong. As Jacob heard Tessa,
All right.
Right.
she was running up the stairs the minute she had left the kitchen. It may have been 3 years since they'd seen each other, but he still knew her. Oh, yes, he did. If he didn't get Lorna out of the house sooner rather than later, she'd find a way for her and Hannah to leave. If she left, then all the plans he'd made while he watched her sleep creepy would have been for
Awkward.
nothing.
Weird.
So there's
I made
Tessa.
plans for us. Jeez.
So that's Tessa. You didn't mention a daughter. Lorna walked past Jacob, ignoring the dark look in his eyes, not seeing their color change back and forth between man and wolf. This woman stood between his wolf and its mate and their pup. That was a very dangerous place to be. But Jacob, he had to remember, though, that Lorna was human, not a wolf or subject to pack laws. She really had no clue how much danger she could be in. Lorna poured herself a coffee, then turned to look at him while she took a sip. Listen, Lorna. We said all we needed to say 3 days ago whenever I told you to pack your shit and get the hell out. She wanted more. And I told you I couldn't give you more. You didn't like that, and I made an ultimatum. I told you we were through. So
Girl, don't
hit
go
the
away,
road.
Mad. Just go away.
Well, she didn't like that. She closed her eyes for a moment, setting the cup of coffee on the counter, and took a deep breath, shuddering breath. Opening her eyes, she looked at Jacob, tears in her eyes. All I wanted for you is to tell me that you loved me. I wanted
she
to
aged.
move in, not get married. Do you recognize the difference? Jacob scrubbed a hand down his face and dropped into a chair at the small kitchen table where not even an hour before he had fed and talked to his daughter.
Needy
She
women,
had
come
told-
on.
Well, she had told him about running through the same field that he had run at her age. She couldn't stop talking about her Uncle Sean. He would give his old friend a peace of mind once he convinced Lorna to leave and explain things to Tessa. He hoped Tessa listened better than Lorna. Bitch. Lorna sat down at the table across from him, not a single tear falling down her cheek. He let out a long sigh and reached over to squeeze her hand. Lorna, I understand that you weren't asking for marriage, but to me, to my family, it would be the same thing. Plus, I told you there was only one woman that I would ever love the way you want me to love you.
I want you.
Lorna jerked her
to
hand
want
away
me.
and looked past him. Well,
I want you.
you to want
Want
me.
me. I
I
need
need
You
you.
need me.
I love you.
Love me.
I'm begging you to beg me.
Me.
Karaoke. Karaoke.
Karaoke!
Karaoke. Come again.
Karachi-san.
You must not have drunk enough of this.
Karaoke, Japanese for tone deaf.
Hey, everybody knew what they were
You
getting
sound
into.
like a bad wind.
You have
Y'all
no
knew what you
honor.
signed up for. Come on now.
You brought shame on your family.
Lorna jerked her hand away and looked past him towards the door. Tessa, you'll never love me the way you love Tessa. Well, his wolf growled low, but he pushed him down. Lorna couldn't understand why he would never love her. She wasn't his true mate. She didn't have his heart. His wolf would have no other mate once he'd found his true, fated mate. And he had found Tessa when she was young, gainly, 16 creep.
Ew.
From their first kiss, they'd both known, just as their wolves had known instinctively. They belonged together. They would have gone through the full mating ceremony, but Tessa's parents had said that even at 18, she was too young. He had planned for them to do
there's a ceremony?
this. Oh, yeah.
Do you do it in public?
Damn it.
Yeah,
Like
the
in the
mating
old
did
is-
days
something
where they
wrong.
had to watch you to make sure you consummated.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
but you have to do it as a wolf. You have to do it as
That's
a wolf.
for voyeurism. I guess, if you're into that.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
if you
you're
ever seen two dogs humping, I guess if
Uh-huh.
you're into that kind of voyeurism,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what? No.
He's stuck. Look, he's stuck.
He's
can't-
stuck. Dude, we come home one day and her dog was stuck in the other dog.
Oh, no.
We're like, oh my God, what do we do? It's like, oh, I guess we just,
Just-
wait for it to be over.
Yeah, and the dog looked at us like, "Oh, hey
Uh-oh.
guys,
Oh,
you
hi,
caught
you're here.
me. You're here.
And then we
to her like grandma.
What are you doing, honey?"
and then we came home 2 more times to find him that way, and we were just like, meh.
Yeah, whatever.
The doggy's hurting the other
The
doggy.
first time I was like, what the is this? Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
I got you.
Oh.
I got you.
Yeah.
sorry, we interrupted some private time, guys.
Hate when
Sorry.
that happens.
God, you need the call first. God.
Please call.
It's like,
Didn't you see the bone on the door?
see the collar? Did you see the collar on the door?
Did you see the leash on the door?
I can't even have my own time with my woman. They would have gone through the full mating ceremony, but Tessa's parents said, oh, I already read that. Once fully mated, there was nothing Tessa's parents could say. But that didn't happen. He lost, and they banished him.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Roseman.
Oh, yeah. A little Barry White.
No, up to Roseman. What she said. Show me on the stuff where the other dog touched you.
Good job, Rosen. Oh, God. Oh, God. He had only said goodbye to his parents, but Tessa's screams, calling his name, it echoed in his ear and his mind for 3 years. Last note, those screams had been replaced with her screaming his name as she found sweet release.
Ow.
You did it right.
Yeah.
Are you listening to me, Jacob? Jacob shook his head. Lorna, I care about you. I really do. You're important to me, but you need to move the hell on. Lorna stood up and wrapped her arms around herself and paced. Those tears were flowing freely. I love you, Jacob. I know you care for me. Had she not shown up, I truly believe that we would have a different conversation.
Or no
He had to
conversation at all.
admit- Oh, yeah, you would have said bye.
Bye, bitch.
He had to
Bye,
admit that she had him on that. Before he had gotten the call about a stranded vehicle, he'd been thinking about how he might work things out with Lorna. Kept asking himself, am I really willing to throw away almost 2 years of what had been until the past week a good relationship? Lorna was sexy and sweet and had a lot of fun. She made Jacob laugh, and that had been a huge for him. But he had gotten that call, and it had been Tessa and his daughter. Well, you don't mess with fate. Can you deny that, Jacob? Jacob looked at her. His heart was twisting as he watched her tears and shook his head. No, sweet cheeks, I can't deny that, but Lorna, he didn't finish his sentence before she rushed to him and wrapped her arms around him, laying her head on his chest. Had him wrapping his arms around her,
You dumb man.
No.
Dummy. No. Ah.
holding her. She lifted her head. The next thing he knew, she was kissing him, her arms tightening around his neck when he tried to pull back. He didn't want to hurt her, but the more he tried to push her away, the tighter she hung on. The growl coming from behind them had Lorna finally unwrapping herself from him. He turned to see Tessa standing at the door with her phone in her hand. The color drained from her face. She looked between him and Lorna, her eyes widening.
Get away just 5 minutes.
Blocker.
Her brows furrowed for a moment, shaking her head in disbelief. Tessa brought the phone. She held it to her ear. Thank you, Mr. Charles, for getting back to me. I'm glad the card works now. I will be using it today to get back to my trip. No one said a word for a moment, but Lorna wrapped herself around him as if staking her claim. They all stood there watching each other before Tessa turned and ran up the stairs, taking 2 at a time. Jacob struggled to entangle himself from Lorna's arms. He didn't want to hurt her, but she wasn't cooperating. He finally wrapped his hands around her wrist, squeezing her harder than he'd like, and pulled her arms from him and set her away from him. Because what else are you going to do whenever bitch be getting in the damn way?
Hey.
Oh, good. We're still boy, girl, boy, girl.
Hey!
Oh, no.
Almost as if we planned that. No. Yeah, I see what you did there, you jackass. Took me a second, then I'm like, oh, I get it now.
How's it going, Kitty K? Good to see you, Rapper. Yes.
What's happening, y'all?
Lorna. Well, that's good.
Hey.
We are in the midst of a passionate struggle.
It's a
Love triangle.
Love triangle.
Love
Struggle.
Lorna.
Yeah,
Her name came out as a deep growl, his wolf very close to the surface. We'll not get back together. I need you to understand that and respect it. Jacob stepped back, his jaw tight and his expression hard and cold. Lorna was precariously close to meeting his wolf. The two were juggling for position, and Jacob felt he might lose the struggle at any moment. Fine! This time, Lorna's tears had no effect on him. She took a deep, shuddering breath. I'm leaving. Let me know when I can get my things.
Take them now, get lost, bitch.
That's right. Take them now.
Satan.
Turning on her heels, she held her head up high and walked them high heels out the back door, shaking her ass as she went. Jacob didn't wait a second. He was already bounding up the stairs before the back screen door banged shut. He'd been right. When he walked into the room Tessa had used to put her things, she was shoving Hannah's toys into their bags. He said nothing at first, but just watched her. This wolf's hearing, he could hear her mumbling to herself, and it was all he could do, not to smile. This was a serious moment, and he hoped she'd listen to him. Tessa stopped, whirled around with her wolf's growl, fire in her eyes. Man, was she sexy when she was angry. Jacob shook that off and stepped further into the room. He could hear Hannah in her room playing, talking to one of her dolls, so the two of them would have a few minutes alone. Where's your girlfriend? Waiting patiently for you downstairs while you take care of your past? Well, no worries. I'm almost packed. The card is working, so we can go back to the hotel, and I can pay for the parts so we can get out of here. You won't have to worry. I'm almost packed.
Baby, she's just a side piece. Come on now.
Come on.
I swear
It's all
she
good.
don't
You
mean
know you're my
anything.
number one. You my bottom, bitch. Come on.
Come on, baby.
She meant
Don't
nothing
treat
at
me
all.
like that.
Second chance. I'll never do it again. Come on,
Into his
baby.
life just out of nowhere.
It's
and
just one time.
Right. I've been trying to,
She means
get-
nothing to me.
I strayed. Oh, Lord, forgive me.
What do you want me to
Tell
do?
Jimmy Swagger.
Yeah.
I've seen you for 6 years.
Lord, I am a sinner.
Hey, bitch, I ain't got nothing in 3 years. You think I'm going that long in a dry spell? Hell no.
No, it's been 6 years. I ain't seen you for 6 years.
Baby, I didn't even know you were still alive. Come on now.
As far as I knew, you were still back on the plantation. Damn.
What?
Shizzy, where are you going with this?
Shizzy's been in Atlanta too long.
He has.
Let's back up a little bit here, because are we having a moment, darling?
Wasn't she part of the pack that lived on the plantation or something?
No, I don't remember.
A compound thing, I thought.
See, plantation.
Okay,
yeah.
I just read it. I don't have to make sense of it. God.
Jeez, God.
Let's just keep
That's for
on
somebody who gets
rolling.
paid.
Yes, yes.
Jeez.
Compound's a little more cultish. Plantation.
I know.
That's something
Plantation's not
different.
cultish.
Plantation's a little bit more. Oh,
A little more commitment involved.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I heard she was into chains. What can I say?
Kaiser, do your disclaimer, please.
The following has been closed captioned for the reality impaired.
Thank you.
Or should I read it?
The following has been closed captioned for the reality impaired.
She turned back to the closet to get rest of Hannah's things, then carried them to the bed, putting them in a bag, turning around back to Jacob. She took a step back when she saw him even closer to her. Lorna left and she's not coming back. I broke it off with her the night I got the call that you were stranded. Well, why would you do that? I saw
It's
the look
karaoke
on your
night.
face.
it is true.
She walked in. Baby, come back. You still care about her, so why break it off if you feel that way? Jacob reached out to tuck a strand
Baby,
of her hair
baby,
behind
please.
her ear,
Baby, please.
letting his fingers dance across her cheek. Sweet cheeks, come here. Here.
Come here, baby.
Put this in your hand. Just put this in your hand for a couple of seconds.
Oh my God.
Tessa didn't stop him,
Let me
but
just
she
grab your
dropped his
ass,
hand.
okay?
Not taking any chances she'd move away from him. You're right. I do care for her, but she wanted something from me that I couldn't give her. Unlike you, I will give you the whole thing. She could only handle the tip. She wanted my heart. She wanted me to love her, and I told her, well, bitch, get the hell out. I couldn't. Why? This time she whispered the question. Well, I told her that there was only one woman I would ever love, and it didn't matter. I would never see her again. You would always have my heart. And she swept her hair, then tugged the collar of her t-shirt and looked at the mark on her shoulder, rubbing his thumb over it. You wear my mark. All you have to do is say the words, and we will be fully mated. He felt Tessa. Well, this made Tessa shiver when his thumb moved over her mark. Her eyes fluttered closed, cupping the back of her neck. He pulled her closer, then brushed his lips over hers, lifting his head. He looked down at her as she opened her eyes. I love you, Tessa. It almost killed me when we were torn apart like we were. Jacob, I mourned us too, but I had to pull myself out of it because of Hannah. Then I lost my parents, and I felt so unsettled, so alone. I left the pack telling Sean that I needed something new. I never dreamed that I would find you again. He started to speak, but he pulled her fingers over his lips. Yes. Yes. I wear your mark, which is how and when I got pregnant. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. All we have to do is say the words to be fully mated, but we first have to think of Hannah. I don't know how she'll react to suddenly having a daddy. She's had so many uncles. Then there's the ceremony first.
Yeah, we read that.
Uncle Pedro.
Yeah, she a hoe.
Well, I'd want Sean to be there. And second, don't we need a sacred circle and other wolves there to witness this? Isn't it the magic of the pack that seals it? Well, Jacob, he let out a breath, lay his forehead against hers, more like a headbutt. She was
I have a
right.
question. Is anybody else seeing this as kind of like a group thing now at this point?
Yeah, I'm totally seeing this as a
Okay.
group
I just
thing.
want to make sure that it's not
Yeah.
just me because, okay, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
Very
good.
cultish.
Continue, please. All right.
Yeah.
Told
They
you
had
that
a-
fence
That one of
was
them
run
there
straight.
furry convention things.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are all these people doing here?
Shit. Why is there so much
Forgot about
baby
this
oil?
part.
Oh. Jacob let out a breath, lay his forehead against hers, more like a headbutt. She was right. As far as Hannah was concerned, they didn't know how she would react or out being told that she suddenly had a daddy. Yes, they had a lot of fun
Who's
at
a
breakfast, but that had been their first real interaction. It didn't mean she wanted him to be her daddy, but he had an answer for her second concern, one he knew would surprise her. I agree on Hannah. You two can live up here and let her get used to me being around, helping to take care of her. You fell for my charms, but I'm pretty sure Hannah will too. Tessa laughed, hitting him in the stomach. He couldn't resist kissing her. All right. Go ahead, Diva. Take
Oh,
over.
okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Just a moment, please. Just one moment.
Oh, yes. Problem. Moisten up that
I
whistle.
did.
You need some water?
She needs to lube the vocals a little bit.
Well,
need some
that'll
milk.
require us leaving. So, hey, can't have it both ways.
Lube.
All right. As for your other concern, the sheriff in town is a wolfster. This town is full of them. His pack owns and runs most of the businesses in this town. We met when I was on the road and was passing through Grady. Everyone in town knows about them, and his pack land surrounds the town. The pack has taken me in. We could do this in their circle in front of them.
They'd
I
love to
don't know if
witness
that's what
this.
I'm talking about. No, it doesn't even most strangers in the equation. Goddamn.
They would love
There ain't-
to witness this.
There ain't a whole lot of women around here, so they ain't seen this before.
Meemaw, why everybody got your eyes? Everybody around here looks the same.
I'm your cousin's brother's uncle's sister's former roommate. What does that make us? Absolutely shit.
As far as Sean, well, yeah, he could join in. Would he come? Probably. Especially since he's alpha. And it's, well, me.
I'm getting some serious Jack Murphy vibes there.
Tessa smiled and nodded. Why, he doesn't hate you, Jacob. You guys were best friends. He understood why you challenged him, and believe it or not, he's been trying for the last 3 years to try to circumvent the ancient laws. Yes, he did it for me and Hannah, so you could come back. But he missed his friend. Jacob wasn't so sure, but if Tessa believed, then he would too. Stepping back, he took her hand and then glanced into Hannah's room as she played. I tell you what, why don't we spend the day together as a family? Just the three of us. Maybe go visit the pack and shift into wolves. Have a picnic or whatever you want to do.
Eat some picnickers, you know.
Hey, boo-boo. Look at that
Hey,
picnic
boo-boo.
basket.
Check this out.
Tear up a hen house or two.
Yeah, for old time's sake.
Tear up your hen house.
Well, I bet he did. He shook those eggs were loose, didn't he?
Believe
a
there's
heck
a
of a
fox
rooster
in the
you
old
got
hen
there.
house.
Lord have mercy, look at that rooster.
That's so funny.
So large and so red.
Lord have mercy. Tessa nodded. I think it's a good idea and sounds fun. Why don't you head down and get ready and we'll do the same here. And we can all be together. Jacob kissed her again before he left the room, a big smile on his lips, and headed to take a shower. He had a date with his 2 ladies, a date that he didn't know he'd been looking forward to for the last 3 years.
3 long years.
Are they going to run off?
Are they? Are they going to run
Dick
off?
move.
I don't know. I'm just making. You know how it is when you're watching a movie. It's like, yeah, I wonder if they're going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm zooming out because man, that is so big in my face.
Oh, I liked it so big.
The ladies like it big in their face, Shizzy. Why don't you accommodate?
Like
bigot.
Face.
Yeah.
I won't deny that. I mean, sometimes bigger is not always better, but big is nice.
I may not touch bottom, but I will stretch out the edges.
That would have been Diva that was reading with that amazing accent.
Which one? Did you really like this one? I can do that one all night long.
It's 10 inches around.
Right there.
I love you. It's a personal problem.
Hey, Toy.
Oh, Lordy.
Yes, I'll read just a bit more of this next chapter.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
Tessa
Yes.
sat with her back to the passenger door and listened to father and daughter talk to each other as they headed toward the Pack Lodge. Jacob had been right. She had fallen for his charms, and it looked like he was winning over their daughter too. Nothing could have made her heart so full than seeing the 2 of them like this. Jacob glanced over at her, grinning like a kid with his first bike. Jacob looked back to the dirt road. Wait, I don't know why I made that a dirt road. Oh, there it is.
Who cares?
And Tessa straightened in her seat. They turned into a dirt road surrounded by cornfields, which sounds like a very scary movie, much like the main road. Children of the corn.
Yeah, you don't
It
want
is
to run
Halloween.
around in the corn. You get lost in the maze. Dum.
She watched out the window as corn stalks zipped past them. Ah, there's suddenly a lot of corn.
That's
there a
where
pole?
them aliens get you.
My Indiana senses is tingling.
That's why I don't play in cornfields anymore.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
It's totally aliens, dude.
Jacob chuckled beside her. You're in the middle of Illinois, little wolf. What'd you expect? She turned her head and grinned. Do you miss the mountains? Jacob reached out and lifted her hand to his lips as he nodded. I do, but Max and his pack have taken good care of me and made me feel like one of them. They will love you and Hannah. Okay, I'm done now.
Okay, I'm done now.
And I'm spent.
I'm spent. Goodness.
Alrighty then. Her stomach fluttered. She hoped they would welcome them as much as Jacob thought they would. But they could do or say whatever they wanted to her. Even if one of them were ugly to Hannah, then nothing could keep them safe from her. She felt Jacob's lips on her knuckles again, and she turned to smile at him. Oh, what's on your mind, little wolf? Honestly, I'm just nervous. I don't care about me, but... She stopped when she heard the low growl. Laughing softly, she shook her head. I'm glad I'm not the only one to feel... Wait a minute. Is this him? Wait a minute.
No, it's her.
Who's on first?
Oh, it's her.
It's her. You were fine.
I'm glad I'm not the only one to feel that way. But my wolf is nervous too. You know that I've never been this far away from the pack. I've only met a few wolves that weren't part of the pack, because I'm a hoe. I don't know if I will play well with others. Jacob laughed as he pulled to a next... Wait a minute. As he pulled to a stop.
If she's a hoe,
next
wouldn't
to
she be able to play well with others?
Well, you'd
Right?
think, but I don't know.
Okay.
It's an awful lot of uncles not to be...
Sorry, I just needed some clarification. I
to
don't
be
know
a
if
little
anybody else did.
socially awkward.
It's like it's been a long time. I've been away from the plantation for a while.
Don't be slut shaming people now. Come on now.
Never have I ever slut shamed
That's just
that I
mean,
recall.
Or taken, but
Take
Man.
a
Sluts
drink.
need love too.
That's right.
Yeah, they do.
Jacob laughed as he pulled to a next stop next to a large farmhouse or whatever. Turning off the truck, he turned to Hannah in the back seat. We're here. Hannah let out an exaggerated sigh, rolling her eyes. Finally! I can't mock a little girl. Tessa laughed as she got out of the truck and helped Hannah out, carrying her around the vehicle.
you mock
to stand
Valhalla
by
all the
Jacob.
time.
I do what? Oh, Valhalla? Oh.
Speaking of slut shaming,
It's just got so much hair that you can grab onto.
I think this is the mother, isn't it? Welcome to the fancy world of Hannah. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
Jacob
that's
laughed and took Hannah from her arms and lifted his daughter to sit on his shoulders. Hannah, do you like wolves? Hermione does. He started walking toward the back of the house. Tessa followed them. Who is this? I get so confused. The little girl.
the girl.
I'm a wolf, silly. Okay. When they reached the backyard, Jacob swept her off his shoulders and set her on the group, going down on one knee in front of her. Are you? Yes, so is Mommy. Aren't you, Mommy? Tessa dropped down to her knees beside Jacob and nodded. I am. And you know what? What? Tessa pulled Hannah close so they both looked at Jacob. Jacob is a wolf, too. Hannah's eyes widened and looked over at Tessa. He is? Tessa nodded. Why don't we all shit and run? Or run and shit. It's like walking and peeing at the same time. Guys can do it, so can we. I'm sure your pup would love to run and shit in those cornfields and play hide and seek like Sarah Boone with Jacob and I. Only there's no suitcase involved. Don't you think so? Oh, God, that was long.
The ability to combine two comedic bits into one sentence was amazing.
Feeling the force tonight. Her daughter grinned and nodded. Excuse me. I think so too. Why don't you wait a minute? Oh, I think so too. Why don't you show Jacob how beautiful your wolf is? Hannah nodded again and stepped away from Tessa. The little girl turned and smiled at Jacob before she spoke. Wait a minute, what? Oh,
This is a
no.
little girl.
Oh, this is a little girl.
Girl.
Okay. Abracadabra. I was going to do some stupid. The minute she said the word, the little girl shifted into a small ball of golden fur. The pup yelped and ran around them, and Jacob laughed, turning to Tessa. Oh, abracadabra.
New safe word.
Yeah. I prefer schooner.
That's awesome. Unless you're role playing now, that might not work.
Abracadabra! Abracadabra!
Biting me.
Tessa's cheeks reddened and nodded.
Oh my
That's
God.
how my father got me to shift. My mother used to laugh and tell me the story of walking into the nursery. And instead of her baby girl, there was a wolf pup in the bed, tearing up a stuffed toy. I was tearing that toy up. I was just wrecking
Naughty
that
little
thing.
Girl, so naughty.
Tell me where the toy touched you.
Show me on the doll where it hurt you. Well, I can't. It's destroyed.
I tore that hen house up. The wolf pup let out a high-pitched howl, then turned and started running toward the cornfields. They both laughed when she disappeared among the stalks. I guess the game is on. Jacob winked as Tessa and shifted, shaking out his dark brown fur. He turned and looked at Tessa a long moment, then ran off toward his pup. When Tessa saw Jacob's wolf for the first time in 3 years, it took her breath away. She knew she had fallen in love with the wolf before she had fallen in love with the man.
The dog before the man.
Yeah.
Oh.
The two together had been a heady mixture, almost addictive. But she had never stopped loving him in the 3 years they'd been apart. She loved him even more now than when they were together again. What? Oh, that they were together again. Whatever. Tessa grinned when she heard the two people she loved most in the world running through the cornfield and screaming, "Alien! Alien!" And her wolf was excited to join them. Who was she to deny the animal? She shifted, shaking out the snow-white fur, then lifted her head and howled. As her howl died away, she ran into the fields after her family, shitting here and there as she...
And everywhere. Oh, look, a suitcase.
Leaving tracks that Ray Charles could follow.
6 months of this shit.
6 months of this shit.
That foreign accent needs a beret.
What? The foreign accent needs a...
Oh my God.
Blueberry beret.
Beret. Like the kind you
Where we
find
have
in
to
the
sound like a
second-hand
Frenchman.
store.
All right. Where are we? Okay. Tessa opened her eyes when the truck drove over a pothole. Yawning, she looked around, seeing nothing but darkness. Not unlike the night Durango broke down and Jacob had to come to the rescue them. She looked over at Jacob driving, one hand on the wheel, one on his crotch. The other covered her hand on the console between them. His touch was warm and gentle, but possessive. And as he dared anyone to touch her. Ooh. All right, Daddy, I see you. Okay. She could hear Hannah's soft breathing in the back seat behind her. This was her family, all nestled in the truck, or in the cab of the truck. Did you have a nice little nap? She looked up at him, smiling and nodding. You snored that cute little snore you have. Tessa shook her head as she straightened in her seat. I do not snore. Jacob laughed and squeezed her hand. Oh, darling, you snore, but don't worry, you're still sexy. Tessa pulled her hand out from under his and punched him in the arm. You should never hear. You should hear you snoring in the middle of the night. Trust me, that is not sexy. He laughed harder and put 2 hands on the wheel. Darling, I'm always sexy. That's why you can't keep your hands off me. They both laughed, and Tessa knew it was true. He was always so damn sexy, and she couldn't keep her hands off him. She turned slightly, her back against her door. Oh, okay. And looked at Hannah, her head leaning back against her car seat, holding her stuffed wolf to her chest. So, Tessa, she looked over to Jacob. We've not talked about it, and it's only been a few days, but you will stay here with me? Her heart sped up, beating in her chest at the question. She knew one of them would ask this question, but he'd said it. It had only been a few days, not even a week, since she and Aunt Hannah had even come to town. So much had happened in those days that her head was almost spinning. Then today, with them shifting as a family, had been the best time she had had in 3 years, save Hannah's birth. Jacob, you don't have to answer that, Tessa. She sighed and shook her head. Jacob, look at me. He glanced over. I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no. I want you to say yes. I want to say yes, but we both have to think about Hannah. I really think she needs a little more time to get used to the three of us together. Then we'll tell her you're her father and see how that goes. After that, we will know if it's the right thing to do. Reaching out, she touched his arm. Being a parent sucks sometimes. Jacob chuckled and caught her hand and squeezed. I'm learning that, but you've done a good job. Now there's two of us. We'll figure it all out together. He sounds like a good old guy.
He does.
It doesn't he though? I mean,
He does.
such
I'm
a
just
hoe.
wondering when Crazy Lorna's going to come back because
Why
what?
can't it be like a 2 men and a baby situation, you know?
I mean, there's
they
this-
could all get along.
There's this very wholesome vibe kind of going through this weird werewolf sex story, but it's kind of weird in that way. But at the same time, I'm waiting for the part where we get to the rabbit being boiled in the pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Either that or we're waiting for a Mormon experience.
Ooh.
Some loin fire.
That's right.
Well,
Well,
let's get to
Inbreeding.
that part.
inbreeding can make some passive, so.
Paul?
All right, let's make it weird. Jacob stood at the bedroom door watching as Tessa read to a sleepy Hannah, who'd probably eaten a pudding pop. They'd had a long day of fun and family time, and now his daughter could barely keep her eyes open. But he couldn't blame her. He had had a pudding pop as well. He was tired, too. All he wanted was to tuck his daughter in and then take her mother downstairs and send her to the basement. Strip her of her clothes she was wearing, and both of them take a nice, long, warm shower with lots of soap. Once they had let all the hot water go cold, he wanted to take her to his bed and make love to her. He shook his head. Maybe he shouldn't think about his daughter. At the same time, he was thinking about ravaging her mother.
Yeah,
I agree. Yes.
A little inappropriate.
Just
A little bit. Tessa closed the book she had been reading from, then tucked the blankets up to Hannah's chin before leaning down and kissing her on the forehead. Hannah peeked at him over the blankets and wiggled her fingers in a little way before closing her eyes. What an adorable child. Tessa set the book on the dresser and walked up to Jacob, putting her hands on his chest and leaned up to kiss him. She'll be asleep before we get downstairs if we're quiet.
But I want to make you scream.
That's right.
I'm gonna make you
Jacob-
howl, baby.
yeah, Daddy.
Oh.
Was Uncle Bill at the party today?
I cannot comment on that particular. You will need to speak to my attorney.
The legal
Jacob-
proceedings haven't finished yet.
Jacob nodded and took her hand, leading her out of the bedroom and downstairs. Once they stepped off the last stair, he turned, pulled her into his arms, and kissed her like a ravenous animal. He wanted to do this all day, but he didn't know how Hannah would have reacted. Probably poorly. Now that we're alone, he
I
wasn't
think
sure
we're
he...
alone now.
I hope that we are alone now and the cops are not knocking on the door. He wasn't sure he'd be able to stop. Tessa wrapped her arms around him, whimpering softly and molding herself against him. It's about to get good, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Lifting his head, he looked down at her. His eyes were heated gold. I want to strip you out of them clothes, put you in the shower, and wash every inch of that luscious body of yours.
Oh.
Don't use the shampoo I was there last week.
Don't use the bottle. Don't use the bottle.
Don't use the bottle.
He brushed his lips across hers, then lifted his head again. Afterwards, I'm going to take you back to bed and keep you there till at least tomorrow afternoon, if not forever. Tessa laughed. Is that so? I can't do a woman's voice.
No.
Jacob grabbed her around the waist and picked her up as she squealed, then wiggled in his arms.
Squeal.
Sorry, I was thinking of
baby.
something funny at the same damn time.
I just love the fact that you're reading this in Cosby voice.
I like a good piggy wrangling.
I like a good piggy wrangler.
I got her greased up a little bit of. I got me the baby oil. She's all lubed up, wiggling around.
Yeah.
Like a pig.
I'm gonna have to take keys to the studio. He buried his head in her hair, kissing and nibbling at her neck, causing her to laugh and wiggle more. That makes it more exciting.
Wiggle.
Jacob, stop. He laughed at her protests and carried her into the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Really, Jacob? I want you to stop then. I promise. I'll let you do all kinds of nasty things to me. I didn't have to improv that.
Oh, wow.
That was not me. That was written.
That was written.
He narrowed his eyes at her, giving her a playful growl, then laid her on the bed. His eyes were drawn to her breasts.
Why would you draw on her breast? Why would you draw your eyes on her breast? That's not right.
Maybe it's some kind of weird fetish.
Did he
thing.
have
I
a
don't know.
Sharpie on him?
Why?
Maybe.
It's like
Or
asking
give me
questions.
one of
Why?
those, like,
Why at
eyes
that
that
moment in
repel?
time do you have to talk? Why? It's like asking
Right.
those damn questions. Why? Why at that particular friggin' moment?
That sounds a little personal there.
Way to kill the moment. Way to kill it. Way to kill it, honey.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put the symbol of the Illuminati on you.
Yeah, maybe it's to repel evil or something. I don't know. We don't know their weird,
Maybe
like,
he's drawing,
group sex
I don't
things.
know.
We don't
Maybe
know.
he's drawing Ronald McDonald on her chest. I don't know.
That's just even more weird.
Curly hair,
That's
eyes, nose, big old clown mouth right underneath the boobs.
So does the nipple become his red nose?
Oh.
Oh, that's the eyes.
I can't unsee that now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Just imagine where the mouth is.
No.
Would you want to kiss Ronald?
Give me your hammer.
Ronald again.
Give Ronald a big old kiss.
That's what you call Picasso prawn. That's what gets him all excited, all the cockeyed faces and everything.
Jacob looked up and gave her a wolfish grin, wiggled his eyebrows. I know, but it wasn't your eyes that I was looking at, my dear. Tessa laughed again and shook her head. Focus, Wolf. I have something important to tell you. Trust me, little wolf. You have my undivided attention. I decided on the way home that I think we should ask your friend if we could perform our mating ceremony with his pack. She stood from the bed. Okay, I'm going to take a shower, then head to bed. She walked past him, then looked over her shoulder. Upstairs! Jacob growled again. Standing, he caught her in 2 steps, picking her up again, tossing her onto the bed. She laughed as she bounced until his body covered hers, keeping her in place. Now, what were you saying? She laughed again and lifted her head to kiss him. I'm saying yes. Yes to finishing the ritual. Yes to being with you always. Yes to everything.
Ooh, does that mean backdoor too?
Hey, she said everything.
She said
She said everything.
Said yes.
That is an all-inclusive package.
Hey, anal is the new oral.
When you say
Not
when you
together.
say everything, people take you literally.
Never go ass to mouth. Never go ass to mouth.
Never go ass to mouth.
No, don't do that.
I'm gonna kiss you now. The hell you are.
Fuck you are.
What are you thinking?
You okay, Kaiser?
You gotta brush your jibs first, is what you're gonna
Kaiser's
do.
like, God, where's that bottle of Malort?
Especially after not running through the cornfield. I don't know what you've been eating.
Ew. Jacob's expression softened as a weight lifted from his shoulders. He hadn't taken for granted that she would automatically say yes when he asked her for backdoor. I mean, to go through the ceremony.
I'm the backdoor man.
He'd hoped she would, of course, but he knew she had been thinking of her daughter when she hesitated to give an answer before. What about telling Hannah? I still want to wait. I can't imagine that we'll have the ceremony the minute you talk to your friend. We'll spend all the time together as a family like we talked about, and you can still win her over with your charms. Jacob grinned and kissed her. She parted her lips for him.
Which ones?
Hence the hesitation. And he deepened the kiss, taking everything she offered to him. His chest tightened at the emotions he felt from her. This was his woman, his mate, his love, his sex toy. He would never let her go again. He lifted his head and she slowly opened her eyes. Reaching up to caress his cheek, he leaned into her touch, then turned his head to kiss her palm. I love you, Tessa. I never stopped. Tessa nodded and brushed her fingers through his hair. I love you too, Jacob, and I never stopped.
Oh my
It nearly
God.
killed me to lose you, but I never stopped loving you. We will have what we should have had. We will have a life together and a family together and stuff.
Like, oh my God.
Like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Will you be okay with not return to Colorado? I don't think marrying me will endure you. Hold on. Is that her?
Dear.
That's him.
Him.
That's him?
Yeah.
I don't think marrying me will endear you to the elders, nor do I think they will welcome me back with open arms. She grinned. I become quite fond of cornfields, and I think we will live a long life here. And we will open up a boutique and sell kelp and shit.
I have been over in many a cornfields. Oh my God.
Oh, do tell us more.
Tell us.
It's okay. It's no different than, like, I don't know, the cucumbers that the girls use.
God.
But this one is just like ribbed for her pleasure.
So have you had a few pudding pops in your day?
Lazy
Ew.
yellow moon coming up tonight. Crickets are singing and the lightning bugs are floating on a breeze. Baby, getting ready.
That's one of those questions you ask. Do you know the difference between a blowjob and a handshake?
Oh, no.
What's the difference?
Do you want to shake my hand?
Jacob matched her smile and nodded. I agree. Hannah will well, she didn't put quotes on this. I agree. Hannah will love it here too. And there are lots of pups she'll be able to play with. She won't be bored. I promise.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right,
Another
Kaiser.
Beer.
All right.
Come
Did
on,
we
puppet
skip straight to
boy.
the morning and we don't get to get the sexy time? Oh.
Oh.
I'm a sad.
Okay. Jeez. Guess we're doing this. All right. Tessa put down 3 pancakes on the platter and set it on the table as she sat down. Jacob stabbed one with his fork, and put it on Hannah's plate, and then took another 2 for herself. She watched them both, a smile tugging at her lips. Hannah was rambling as only a 3-year-old could. God, I understand having one of my own. They don't shut the fuck up. And Jacob was listening attentively while putting a little butter and syrup on her pancakes. I'm sure he would like to butter up her pancake later. They've been doing the same thing for over a week, intermittently with their sexy time, I'm sure. She didn't know exactly how what had happened, but when they had fallen into such a comfortable routine. When had they fallen into a routine of, a family? They were acting like a family, even though the mating ceremony wasn't for another couple of weeks, and they had yet to tell Hannah or Jacob was her father. Well, ladies, I have to get to work. Jacob stood, leaned down, and kissed the top of Hannah's head and looked at Tessa. She followed him to the back door. Yes, I'm sure he did. He kissed her back door. He kissed her goodbye, and he wrapped his arms around her, pulling her so close his body molded to his. I love you, little wolf. You know that, right? Tessa smiled and nodded, and her hand moved up to his hard chest to cup the back of his neck. He leaned down and captured her lips in a soft, wet kiss. Yes, luscious. Pulling back, she opened her eyes to see him looking down on her with determination. I want you to think about something today. He brushed his lips over hers again. What? I want you to think about us telling Hannah and I am her father. Oh, yeah. Tessa's stomach started churning, and she put a shaking hand on it. She didn't know why she was nervous about telling Hannah. She deserved to know that the man she had become so attached to was her father. Jacob deserved it. He was so loving and protective of his little girl that sometimes it brought tears to Tessa's eyes, seeing them together. He was right to ask. Taking a deep breath, she pushed down her anxiety and gave him a shaky smile.
You're right. I give his time.
I'm just picturing Randy Savage and Elmo mating. Just like...
Oh my god.
Talk about a hand job.
Like a furry fleshlight. Jesus.
Elmo with a bow in his hair.
No, Randy Savage, no.
No means no.
My, what big hands you have.
It's
I don't have to watch this retail chicken again.
It's always on the back door on Elmo.
God damn it, kid. Why don't you use some lube? I'm tired of the rug burn.
Anyway.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Jesus Christ. The smile he gave her was well worth ignoring her anxiety. It had her heart skipping a beat, then started hammering in her chest. When he touched her arms, an electric jolt shot straight through her, straight to her core, and beyond that, into her panties. I'm sorry, ramping up in her need for him. Okay, well, never mind. I'm sorry, I'm just going to need a moment. If she'd known she'd get that smile from him, she would have agreed to tell Hannah sooner.
I love you, Tessa. Jacob leaned and to whisper in her ear, his warm breath sending goosebumps all over her. I want to stay home and do very dirty things to my little wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to give you the rotisserie chicken treatment.
Smack it up, flip it, and rub it down.
Are you an ice skater? Because I love your sit spin.
We'll throw some bungee straps on the ceiling fan and just let you have fun.
Damn it, I missed it. Oh, God.
Oh, God, no, puddle down. Why?
Like the chili peppers.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Macho Man wearing the crown. Nothing else but Elmo.
Oh.
Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Step into this Slim Jim. Ooh.
Don't tell. See the visuals I get when you say things like that. It will never go away.
Yep. That's what I'm here for, baby. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. I give it all the visuals and I make them dirty. Okay. Mm-hmm.
You go wake up in the morning thinking about that.
Just...
Anyway.
Oh, God.
Under the shackles, only got 4 fingers.
How do you get that out of fur anyway?
No.
You don't. That's the thing. I'm sure.
Tammy, I'm never going down the toy aisles again.
The fur licks itself, so I mean, I guess he'd have to lick it off.
Oh.
Just understand there, Tammy. You're gonna be some point reminded nostalgically of the tickle Elmo, and you're never going to be able to get me out of your head.
Oh no. Poor Catchet said, I've corrupted my religious mother. I'm taking care of her at the moment. She told me to take my ears out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're gonna just go ahead and
You're gonna hear the whole thing.
Hi, Mom. I'm just gonna go ahead and read this here and just be as disgusting as possible.
We might all need a priest after this.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna in nomine patri, get the fuck out. Okay.
Tessa shrugged. I struggled to take a breath, her thighs quivering from the throbbing between her legs.
Jacob, please.
He chuckled in her ear before straightening. Tonight after we talked to Hannah, then we put her to bed. You were mine. I plan to devour you until you are spent and shaking. Then I'll do it all over again. Oh, yeah.
Come on, Randy.
You girl. I'm going to take you to town there, Hulk Hogan.
Do it.
Do it. He kissed her forehead, then turned and left her standing there looking after him.
Have a good day.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Tessa didn't know how much she managed to turn from the back door and go to Hannah. But she did, acutely aware of how the shorts she wore rubbed against with her every step she took. Damn him.
Every step you take.
She won't go to sleep.
You
What the hell's my 2x4? I'll get that kid
I'll
to
be
sleep.
watching
Every
you.
thigh that shakes, every time you quake, I'll be rocking you.
Yeah.
I'll be doing something to you later.
Oh, whoa, no. Please. Yeah.
Oh, you know you like it.
All right, now
You're-
hold on. I need to put
You,
myself
you
on
know
mute
you
for a
love to hear
second.
me. You don't love to hear me in this voice. It's just talking dirty all evening.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, she helped Hannah down from the table and took her upstairs to give her a bath. She managed to get syrup in her hair. How had she gotten syrup in her hair? They're 3-year-olds. They fucking do it all the time. Tessa shook her head as she rinsed Hannah's hair and got out of the tub, dried her off, and let her go play in her room. Tessa was getting dressed when her phone rang. Picking it up, she smiled when she saw Sean's name. She had called him to tell him about the mating ceremony and how she wanted him to be there, but had to leave a message. Sean! Tessa sat down on the bed, her big smile on her face. Tessa, hi. Her smile slowly faded in the tone of his voice. Yeah, got your message. I'm happy for you. You were able to find Jacob after all this time.
Why don't you sound like you like it?
Her hold tightened on the phone, waiting to hear.
She needs
what
him
he
to
was
like
talking
it.
about. Yes, and she needs him to like it. I know you're going to all like it whenever I get through. Dreading what he was going to say, there was a silence on the end before he sighed. I'm at the back door, Tessa. Can you let me in?
Oh,
Good
yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here for
Backdoor
your
man.
Hey, Tessa, I'm here for your back door.
man.
Yeah, I'm here to give it to you. Yeah,
Wow.
fast and dirty, like you know how I like it, because I'm a wolf. Ow.
Doggy style.
What can I say? I was raised by wolves.
Confused, she ended the call without a word and put her t-shirt on before hurrying to the back door. So many backdoor puns this breeding. Oh my god. She opened it and she opened her back door and frowned. Her eyes narrowed.
Mhm.
She saw not only Sean but 2 of the pack enforcers standing behind him.
Ooh,
What's going on, Sean?
this is getting good.
Yeah, give me yeah, can we please come in? We need a tack. Tessa frowned and pushed the screen door open for them. Without saying a word, she turned from the door and walked into the kitchen, sitting down, leaning back in the chair with her arms crossed. The 3 of them took the chairs and they were all silent, staring down the 2 enforcers until they started to shit in their seats. I was reading it verbatim.
I didn't know
I
it
can
was
only
that
read
kind of
what's on the
party
page.
now.
I can only read what's on the page.
Everybody
Look,
busting my
yeah.
balls
Yeah.
about shifting and shitting. Here we go. They're just sitting there shitting all over their seats, just crapping
Clean that
wherever
up.
they want.
It's
It's that
like
kind
you're
of
not
party.
house trained. I thought we house trained our wolves.
Where's that rolled up newspaper? I'm gonna
Guys,
start smacking some noses here.
I'm going to rub your
Not
nose
kind
in.
of party.
Oh, damn it.
But
You get some
it-
paper towels and some bleach and you clean this
See?
shit up.
Hey, if you like that,
That's what she
cool.
meant all the
It's
time.
Good. It's okay. It's okay.
Never had anything
I don't
about
judge.
shifting. It was all about shitting. They just shit everywhere.
I just don't
I mean,
understand
these
the
people
whole
just show
shitting.
up at her back door and shit on the seat. My God.
I don't understand that. And
And we
it's
got the
okay.
next one, Hawk to a Sean. There.
Hey,
Hey,
we
Yeah.
really need Teresa in the chat to be able to explain that one.
Wait a minute. What did I miss?
Yeah. Anyway, she finally turned her attention to Sean.
Spit it out, Sean. Why are you here?
Spit on it.
Yeah, that's
Are you
right.
worried about me or you want to be part of the mating ceremony?
Tua.
Yeah. Spit on that thing.
Anyway,
Hockaloogie on it. Hockaloogie on it.
adrenaline seemed to shoot through her body as her stomach started to churn and she struggled to catch her breath. She closed her eyes and the world seemed to spin around her until she clenched her fists and forced herself to take several deep breaths to calm herself. This was Sean. No matter what the reason he was here, he wouldn't hurt her or Hannah. In fact, he'd given his life to protect them. He needed to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what he wanted.
That
I'm
sweet
sorry,
ass.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
I'm sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to get so snippy with you. I just don't.
Sean cut her off from whatever else she was going to say, dropping a bomb on her she never expected from him. Tessa, you need to come back, and I mean right away.
Why? What's happened, Sean? Spit it out. Has someone died?
Tessa's stomach started to hurt, churning and burning. Take some goddamn Prilosec, for fuck's sake. She remembered that day she had gotten a call about her parents. For the second time in 3 years, her whole world had caved in around her. Now, as her heart started beating faster and she struggled to breathe, she felt helpless in stopping what happened to her again. Excuse me. Better get a little water.
A little throat lubrication.
That lubrication, yeah.
Loosen it up. Loosen it up.
I just had to get some water. That didn't help. Yeah, the elders are threatening to banish you if you don't come back. She sat there, Sean's voice echoing in her ear, only drowning out slightly by the loud beating of her heart. Shaking her head in confusion, she blinked several times before she spoke.
I'm sorry. Why would I be banned? I don't understand.
Yeah, Jacob's only banned, but everyone in the pack is forbidden to have any contact with him.
Why did you tell me that? I never know that?
Sean scrubbed a hand down his face and sighed. I never in a million years thought you'd find him. Hell, I lost track of him. So how could I? No, you break down where you did. What were the odds that he would find you and be the one to come help you? Tears burned to the back of her eyes as she blinked rapidly to keep the tears from falling. What did life have against her? Was she not allowed to be happy? Disbelief was replaced with anger as she pushed away from the table, standing and stared into space.
I don't understand, Sean. My God, my family is one of the founding members of the plot. They can't banish me.
Well, I can and will, Tessa. I said the same thing to them, but they promptly informed me that they will wipe your family name from the historical records of the pack. It will be as if your family were never members, founding or not. Tessa stopped her pacing and stared at him, words failing. Her great-grandfather, Aidan Cafferty, had been Sean's great-grandfather's best friend and had come over from Ireland with them. They had married sisters and made the trek out west to find a better life. Both families had flourished and opened their arms to any wolf who needed a pack. Both families were a foundation of the pack, their history. Her father had been very proud of his family's heritage and place in the pack hierarchy. She would sit with him, enthralled by his stories. He'd tell, even now, she could tell the same stories, word for word, to Hannah. If the elders did what they were threatening to do, there wouldn't be any stories to tell her daughter. Tears filled her eyes as she dropped back down in the chair she'd vacated earlier.
Sean, they can't do that.
She looked at him, pleading.
You're the alpha. Can't you do something? Can't you?
Sean shook his head, reaching out to touch her hand. I tried. Tears filled his own eyes as she squeezed her hand. I swear I tried, Tessa. But when it comes to the whole history of the pack and keeping the traditions and laws, I have a final say on something like this. Tessa dropped her head into her hands and scrubbed her hands down her face. When she looked back up, tears streaked down her cheeks.
How did they find out, Sean? How did they know where I was?
Sean took a deep breath, letting it out slowly. The alpha of Jacob's new pack reached out because of the mating ceremony.
Snitch.
Yeah, it was out of common courtesy because that would make you a part of their pack too. Her heart sank. They would never thought it would happen. It felt as if the fates didn't want them to be together. it felt as if they were doomed to never be together and to be happy. Tessa, you have to come back with me now, right now. The elders were going to send the enforcers after you and were ordered to kidnap you and Hannah if they had to. I was able to stop that from happening, but I have less than 48 hours to get you back, which means we have to leave right now. She shook her head. There was no way she could just pick up and leave without talking to Jacob. She wouldn't do that. She couldn't do that. I know what you're thinking. I know what I'm asking is before it's impossible, but I swear, Tessa, if you come with me right now, I'll find a way for you and Jacob to be together. Tessa stared at him, tears flowing freely now as her heart shattered into a million pieces. Her throat hurt as she spoke, her words coming out in sobs.
I'm packed, Grumps. We're little off John. I'm packed. Hannah's asleep upstairs. Get her, Sean. You guys can get the rest of our luggage and put it on the Durango. If I have to leave, I want to do it right before Jacob comes home.
Tessa pushed away from the table, not looking to see if Sean or his men were getting up too. She didn't care. She walked to Jacob's room and closed the door behind her, falling face first onto the bed and sobbing. When her tears were finally spent, she grabbed the few things she had moved into the bedroom and packed them into her bag. When she finished, she found the notebook and pen she'd seen sitting on the dresser earlier and sat down. She wrote Jacob a note, or letter considering the length, pouring all her love and finally regret into her words. She told him one last time how much she loved him and folded the papers, putting them on his pillow. Standing, she looked around the bedroom, pushing away all the dreams she'd had of their future together. She saw the t-shirt he'd worn the day before sitting on top of his hamper. Going to it, she picked it up and brought it to her nose, inhaling the pure, earthy scent of that was all Jacob, then put it into her bag. She needed
have worn deodorant.
Time. Yeah. Something that would help her remember his scent as she fell asleep on it.
Well, or when she touched herself,
Yeah. Either way works.
Yeah, it's a handy.
When
whatever.
I think about you, I
I
touch
touch
myself.
myself. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's a good song.
Opening the bedroom door, she saw Sean standing in the kitchen with Hannah still asleep in his arms. You ready? Tessa rubbed her daughter's back, nodded, and turned away from him and headed outside to her Durango. One of the enforcers who had come with Sean was shutting the back of the vehicle and looked at Sean. She opened the back door so she could get his goddaughter in the car seat, then slid into the passenger side of the vehicle. Sean got behind the wheel and started the Durango. Out of the corner of her eyes, she saw him looking at her, but she refused to look at him. Letting out a sigh, he put it into gear, pulling out of Jacob's driveway and out of town, leaving her heart and soul behind them.
The story sucks!
What? Is that the
I
end?
was enjoying the whole
Right.
story.
No, wait,
sucks!
no.
Okay, there's more. There's more.
No, it doesn't suck because we've got this is a two-man boat here going on. I'm intrigued.
Tired of
guys.
shit!
It's awesome.
2 men in a little boat. Schooner.
I mean, this could turn out to be a real nice situation, y'all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because we were laughing and joking, and then the emotional beat hit, and everyone went dead silent. I'm just like, I'm just gonna read this straight. All right, here we go.
Chapter 12.
You did good.
Jacob walked into his kitchen, stopping long enough to take his oil-covered boots off, then looked around. The silence in the house was almost deafening as he moved through the kitchen
We like
to
a
the
dirty
living
man.
room. He expected to hear Hannah's laughter from somewhere in the house, or to hear Tessa singing softly to her daughter. That's what he'd been coming home to. It was the reason he had been coming home instead of going to the bar like he used to, sleeping around with all those slutty women like Lorna and Janice and Julie and Susan.
Probably someone named Becky.
Becky and Karen.
It's always a
and,
Becky. Ugh,
And now he's
what?
stuck
Becky.
cleaning up everybody's Cleveland steamer.
Ew.
Ugh. Well,
Having
it probably
Tessa
doesn't
and
even
Hannah
wash his
around.
balls. Ew.
Well, that you do
From
need a good
under
ball
cheese.
washer.
No, he's got that from under cheese, probably.
Well, it's very, very filling.
Ugh.
Under your balls.
Tessa and Hannah around had truly made his house a true home. Frowning, he went to his bedroom to change into something different than he was wearing. Maybe they had run to the store or were at the park. He stripped out of his
Ooh,
dirty
strip, baby,
coveralls,
strip. Take it off.
tossing them into the hamper, and he grabbed a pair of jeans going commando and a t-shirt from the dresser. He was
Yeah.
leaving the room, but looked back and saw a folded piece of paper sitting on his pillow.
Bend over,
Reaching
bend
the
over.
bed, reaching that bed in a single stride, he grabbed the note and he opened it. After reading a few lines, he slowly sank to the bed.
Yeah.
Tessa
down.
talked about how much she loved him and how much she had wanted all of them to be a family. He was and always be the love of her life, her soul, her fated mate, but sometimes duty had to come before everything else.
You said duty.
Duty. Jacob growled as he continued to read. The pack. Those sons of bitches. The fucking pack. That same fucking pack that
She's
had
fucking
thrown
the
him
pack. I see
out,
it.
turned their backs on him, and
Good
was
riddance,
trying to
then.
do the same thing to her and Hannah. There was one difference, and he knew. Tessa's family were one of the founding families. Their history was intertwined with everything that the pack used
I'm
to
the
be and
boss
still
bitch.
was. She had to leave to save her family. Hannah needed that history. Crumbling that piece of paper, Jacob let out another growl, knowing his wolf was near the surface. His mate, their mate, was gone again. The pain in his chest nearly brought him to his knees as anger and grief gripped his body. He had survived losing his mate once. He didn't think neither he nor his wolf was going to survive it again. Tessa had said that Sean was a couple of his enforcers had come and taken them away, but how had Sean known? How had the elders known where she was and who she was with? Max, his best friend's name echoed in his mind. Max, you son of a bitch. That was the sheriff in town and Alpha of the local pack. The same pack that had taken him in and given him a home. And when he'd lost everything, but why? Why would he say anything? How would he know who to tell?
Son of a bitch!
Fuck you, Max. Fuck you.
You're a dickhole,
Jacob
Max.
stuffed that crumpled piece of paper into his pocket. He pulled out his phone. Where did he pull his phone out of? Because he just put on some new
That's
His
what
jeans.
I-
prison pocket.
Prison
Yeah.
pocket. Hitting the spiel dial, wiping the nastiness off of it. He waited for Max to answer, but it went to voicemail. Where the fuck are you?
Motherfucker.
She's gone. She's fucking gone. What
Fuck
did
you,
you
Max.
do? He stabbed at the phone to disconnect and kept poking at it and jabbing at it, but he just stuck it back in his prison pocket. And looking around the room, he saw a shirt on the chair across the room. Moving to it, he knew even before he grabbed it that it was one of Tessa's shirts. He could smell her.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet, sweet honey
It's
song.
like that.
Jasmine combined, filling him with her.
Mm.
It only took him a few moments before the decision hit him.
Boing.
He was going
Oh.
after her. Yeah, he wasn't going to rub one out. Not this time. No one was going to stop him from getting his mate. No, his family back. Grabbing a few things, he stuffed them into
He
his
did grab
prison
a few
pocket.
things, didn't he?
Yeah. Headed to the kitchen, he walked out the back door, pulling his leather jacket on because why not?
He's
And
got
on
that
the
bad boy aesthetic.
as the door slammed shut behind him, looking
As he
up,
grabbed
he
his
saw
AK.
Max.
Fuck you, Max. Beat his
He saw
ass.
Max walking out of the garage, his face expressionless, but Jacob could tell by the set of his jaw his friend had come to talk to him about all of this.
We'll fuck you up, dude.
What the fuck have you done, Max? She's gone. They took her. His
took her
words
all
hit that
night.
sheriff, stopping him in his tracks. He dropped down onto one of the chairs on the patio, scrubbing the hand down the face. Max shook his head. I swear, Jacob, I didn't know she would be taken or leave. Jacob looked at him before dropping his pack and sitting down across from him. Smacked him upside the head, dumbass. He and Tessa sat like this just last night playing with their daughter. He ignored the crushing of his heart and looked at Max. What happened was the pack alpha, Sean O'Reilly, and a couple of his enforcers came to get Tessa and Hannah. What did you do?
Fuck
Max
you,
took his time looking at Jacob, but when he did, he let out a breath before he spoke. It's courtesy that one pack communicates with another when doing the mating ceremony if one of the wolves in the ceremony is not part of their pack. I left it up to my father to do it, and instead of calling the alpha, he must have called one of the elders. He's very old school. The elders of a pack are everything to him. Jacob dropped his head for a moment. He couldn't be angry at Max or his father for following pack protocol. He knew all too well how the workings of a pack can control each member.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So we're not mad at Max now?
No, we're not mad.
he's- No,
But Max is
no
still
Mad
kind of
Max.
a dick, though.
His dad's a
Max? His dad's a dick.
So, but still, shouldn't Max be man enough to say, well, fuck you, Dad?
dick. I don't know, man. Maybe
No,
he will
because
later.
He will.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking. I'm sorry if that was rude
Yeah.
or I'm just kind of wondering because
No,
where everybody's
that's good.
at, you know, just checking
good.
in. We're reading. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yes. Yes. He understood the consequences of challenging Sean for Alpha, but he hadn't truly thought he'd be completely banned. He thought he'd be forbidden from participating in certain pack ceremonies, or at the most be banished to the outer edges of the pack land. He hadn't dreamed that they would truly make him leave without ever being able to say goodbye to Tessa. What's going to happen to her, Max asked, penetrating Jacob's thoughts. Jacob shook his head. Tessa's great-grandfather is one of the founding members of the pack. He had come across from Ireland with Sean O'Reilly's great-grandfather looking for the proverbial better life.
Hey, Sean O'Reilly.
Hey, Sean O'Reilly.
Sean O'Reilly?
Oh my
He's a
God.
good lad. He stays drunk.
Wonderful, man.
He's pissed all the time.
He's pissed all the time. He can't help it. Several families had come with him. They made their way to Colorado and decided to stay. They formed the pack. The elders are threatening to erase all trace of Tessa's family name from the history of the package. They are forbidding her to have anything to do with me because I was banished.
Shouldn't be a dick.
His friend cursed and shook his head. Well, I swear, Jacob. Jacob held up his hand. You didn't know. Hell, neither of us knew something like this would happen. Tessa and I spoke about it. We knew the pack wouldn't be happy, but we never thought they'd go this far to prevent our mating. What the hell you
It's
gonna do,
some
son?
cock blockers, man. They
Well,
suck.
He looked down at his pack and back at his friend. Going to get my fucking family back. He stood, grabbed his pack. I refused to let those sons of bitches pull us apart again.
He's horny,
Max.
man. Fuck.
Max stood. He nodded.
Gotta get my
reaching
wolf
out
on.
He needs some. Let it get the hell out of his way, man.
Reached down. He grabs Max's package and says, "If you need backup, you call me. Your pack will come to help you." Ooh.
Yeah, they're gonna come all right. Let's go.
Emotions swept over Jacob as he nodded. He had truly made a home here with the pack who cared about him and had opened their arms to him. Thanks, man. I have you on speed dial. If I could just get this thing out of my prison pocket. Max chuckled. Then go over and get your mate back. Bring that bitch back home. Get her back. That's where she belongs.
Teach her where she's supposed to be. That's right.
Schooner.
Now,
When I
you may
answer
be-
my prison phone, I just push my belly button.
No, he just lets it. He's got no vibrate. He just lets it ring.
I just push
He
my
calls
belly
himself
button.
constantly
Vibrate.
5 times a day. I'm not
Oh,
done
my
yet.
people.
Tickle my prostate, tickle
Could you
my
call me
prostate.
again?
Yeah.
I can't seem to find my phone. Could you call me again?
Tickle me testicles. Elmo's forgotten cousin.
tickle me testicles.
Now, if we could get Kaiser to do the Elmo laugh, that'd be great.
Yes, that would be
From
good.
Tickle Me Elmo.
You know, again, the visualizations of this stuff is
Oh, yes.
That's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Good.
you know, I am tainted for life, y'all. Thank you.
All right.
I
First of
appreciate it. I
all,
like it.
I know you well
But
enough to
thank
say
you.
that no, this did not taint you.
All right. You
But
got
I'll show
me,
you
but
some.
Come on.
tape. You just
Don't
stick
be
around
out
long
me in
enough.
front of people now. Come on now.
The fleshy fun bridge.
You know us. You're tainted. Believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but it's still fun. Okay, so what? Okay, so tonight is the night, y'all. Remind me. So we're not mad at Max. Max is good. Dad's a dick. The
Yeah.
whole pack is trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, so we know we got a group thing going on. I know that. I'm excited about that.
Big orgy.
And
Big
so,
orgy.
yeah, I'm real excited. And maybe a trio. That's kind of okay too. We're cool. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. Taint, yes. Her taint.
Wait. You forgot the most important part.
She.
Scooter!
Yes.
Scooter!
This is awesome.
Jacob.
It's a good night, y'all.
It's a good
It really
night.
is.
I told
It
you
is
it'd
a
be.
good night.
It's a good night.
It's always
y'all.
a good
Thank you.
night when it's Sunday.
Jacob had
is.
been riding for a couple of days before he finally turned off the highway onto the forest access road that would take him to the Pax Lodge.
Boy, I bet he was wore out. Right.
He was nervous and on edge. He had
What'd you get
stopped
when
by
you're
Tess.
riding?
Yeah, he'd been riding for a long time.
Your voice. Continue, please.
All right. He had stopped by Tessa's place, but she nor Hannah were there. The only place he could think she'd be was with Sean at the lodge. That thought had his wolf lifting its head and growling. It had taken him a few minutes to calm his beast.
Yeah, it takes me a few minutes too.
Yeah, me too. I just can't stop.
Down, boy. Down.
Especially
Just
first
beat
thing
it.
in the
Just-
morning. It's
just
just like,
beat it,
doggone
beat
it.
it, beat
Just
it,
give me a
beat
few
it.
minutes.
Simmer down there, baby. Simmer down.
Could you just stand there for a second? Okay. All
There
right.
Okay. Thank you.
was
Thank
nothing
you.
going on between Tessa and Sean. Neither had ever seen each other that way. The sun had slipped behind the peaks and the sky was darkening the closer he got. He smelled the burning wood before he even saw the bonfire.
Ouch.
Fear gripped him as he sped up. Memories of that fateful night flooded his mind. He didn't want Tessa to face the same fate as he had, and he would be damned if anyone hurt her.
That's right. That's right. He'll beat the hell out of somebody. You go, boy.
When he pulled up and stopped just inside the tree line, he could see the pack gathered, several in wolf form, but no sign of Tessa or Hannah. He could feel the solemnness of the pack, even from where he stood. There was no laughter, no hum of conversations like there normally would be. That, if anything, caused him great alarm. Jacob moved around to the lodge, trying to stay downwind as he went. He had just let the biggest spot.
I did get that. It took me a second.
He had just passed the biggest gas bell he'd ever done in his life. He didn't want to be discovered before he found Tessa, and if not her, then Sean. He managed to make it to the back of the lodge before he scented her. She also had beans and cornbread.
Toot toot.
Slowly and as quietly as he could, he made his way to the back door to the lodge.
And we're back.
Hey, you
Back
got to be
door
real
man.
slow when you're entering the back door.
You got to be
Yeah,
Be careful.
slowly
It
and
takes
quietly.
It takes a little coaxing,
Slowly,
a little-
quietly.
very,
Don't
very
Warm
let
it
them
up.
become aware.
Yes.
Guys, warming up is very important. So
If
let's do a PSA right now.
If you hear a
In the
little
middle of
squeak,
this
it's
reading.
okay.
A little warm up
Take a deep
in
breath.
anticipation
gentle.
of you all
Be
having
gentle.
time is important, okay? Find out what she likes. Just kind of, it could be some weird shit. It's okay. It's okay.
Or just rush y'all in at once and get it over with, like a band-aid.
No. But we want to warm into it. We want to coax that. We want to,
Oh,
hey,
dear.
girl, how's that going? How you feeling? Yeah, just a PSA. Continue, please.
So what'd you do today?
You might be interested in what she likes. You don't know. You just have to ask. Guys are weird about not asking, but continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
You
interrupt.
do that
things.
beforehand.
Sometimes it's
Dear
okay.
Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
You don't just sneak it. You just don't sneak in there. You gotta ask.
You
ahead
gotta
of time.
ask. You need
You
to knock
may
on that
like-
back door, real
You
gentle.
may
like.
like what this chick is into.
Ring the
You don't
doorbell.
know.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might be
Oh,
ding,
tap,
ding,
tap.
ding, ding. All right. She may
I'll
be
knock
a
on that back door like the
dictionary diva,
ATF.
and she may like all kinds of stuff. You don't know. She may seem like she's all right. Yeah. Just anyway.
Tessa's scent instantly surrounded him, and her voice echoed in the air to him. She was angry and hurt. He could tell in her voice. He had to comfort his mate. He had to protect her from whatever the fools of this pack were going to throw at her. Sean, this is bullshit. They can't throw me out. They wouldn't dare wipe my family name from everything. Half this pack is related to me. Are they just going to erase them too? Jacob made it to Sean's office where he could see her pacing, her hands waving in the air as she spoke. She started to speak again, but Sean held up his hand, his head lifting slightly as if he was sniffing the air. Jacob knew then that Sean had scented him. So instead of staying outside of the office,
Wait. Was that scented him?
scented him, yes. It was, he had red beans and rice, so the smell was very distinctive.
Not hard to miss. They're shitting all over themselves earlier. I highly doubt they washed their nasty asses.
Shaming
All
people.
stuck in the fur and shit.
PSA, we ain't kink shaming nobody, okay? If that's the thing, we don't care. We don't care. I just have to clarify here, okay? If they like that whole making stinky shit, it's okay. If that's your
It's not
thing,
just that.
I just wanted to clarify.
It's like my
Continue. It
dog
was
when he's
funny.
got the trots and it's all stuck in his fur, and then I gotta take his ass in and wash his nasty ass.
No, I'm not
Well, you heard-
judging
I
nobody.
can't
I
even
don't
go down
care
to the
what
fucking river and wash.
it ain't
Well,
my
you heard-
business
you heard-
to judge.
You heard
But,
about this? You heard about this rabbit? You know, he walks up on this bear, and the bear's pooping in the woods, and the bear looks at the rabbit and says, "Hey, do you ever have a problem with fur getting, with poop getting stuck in your fur?" And the rabbit looks at him and goes, "No, Mr. Bear, I don't have any problems." So the bear picked him up and used him as a wiping cloth.
Poor little bunny.
Poor little buddy. It's so soft.
shitty
Well, that bear definitely
situation.
shat in the woods.
Yeah, yes. Jacob
Did anybody
knew
hear
then.
him?
Did anybody
No,
hear
that
him?
rabbit sure did.
Jacob knew then that Sean had scented him, so instead of staying outside of the office, he walked in as if he owned the place. Jacob. He gave Tessa a reassuring smile and looked at Sean as he moved to stand between them. What voice does this need to be?
This
You're
Jacob.
really gonna stand between a
Anything
wolf and
you
his
want it
mate?
to be.
Beautiful.
How's that?
Sean stared at him, arms crossed and unmoving.
I could kill you right now, and here, Jacob, it would be in my perfect right to do so.
Jacob raised an eyebrow and crossed his own arms.
And that's what you plan to do, Sean? Kill me? We were best friends once, 3 of us inseparable.
I
We
am
were like
oddly-
brothers. You going to kill your brother?
Ooh.
He saw the minute Sean back down, his body slumping slightly as he shook his head. walking past Sean to close and lock the office door. Oh my. Once he was no longer between them, Tessa ran to Jacob, wrapping her arms around him and burying her head in his neck. When he lifted her, he had known. He had known she hadn't left willingly, but this only proved it.
That's you.
Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry I left. I had to go.
Shh. It's okay, little wolf. I got your letter.
Ooh.
I understand.
He gave a hard look at Sean and then...
What I don't understand is how you, as Alpha, would allow this bullshit to happen.
Damn right.
Sean sat behind his desk and leaned back to watch them. Jacob lowered Tessa to the floor, and she turned to look at Sean, but he wasn't willing to let her away from him.
Hell no.
We've been looking through everything to find a way around all this, but we've come up with nothing.
That was when Jacob saw all the books and journals laying around the room. The place was piled with them on every table space available, even on the floor. He looked at Sean.
What about the original charters?
Sean and Tessa looked at them and then at each other.
No one has thought to check the original charters. Do you even know where they're kept?
Sean got up from behind his desk, walked to the far end of his office, and pushed on one side of the bookcase. It slowly swung open to reveal a large safe. Jacob and Tessa moved up behind him as he worked the combination.
Oh, dear.
No peeking now. I need to keep this locked under safe circumstances.
This is interesting. Come on. I mean, why are we stopping now? Come on now.
Then opened it.
Visualizing here. Come on.
The door creaking in protest. They all looked inside the safe. None saying a word at first.
Bend over.
What are all these journals, Sean?
Those are all my great-grandfather's journals, the first charters and subsequent changes up until my grandfather's death. My father never updated them, and the pack just moved on with what was last written.
Jacob pushed past him and grabbed a couple of journals and handed one to Tessa.
Then I suggest, darling, we get to reading.
Oh, yeah. Role playing.
Sean looked at the clock and at the two of them. Sean.
Shizzy.
Oh, we'd better hurry. We have an hour before the elders gather at the bonfire. Let's hope we find something before them. Then.
An hour. They can find something if they try hard enough.
Gonna have a reading threesome. There you go.
That's right.
Penthouse Forum.
I told you.
She can't do the men voices, so had to
Yeah, I
help
can't
out.
do the guys. I mean, I try, but it sounds really weird.
What you mean you can't do the men's voices? I don't understand.
I mean, I can do the little old lady voice all the time. And if it gets to a sexy part, that's where I'll go right there.
That's the part that turns me on the most.
Mommy,
I
you did a
know
good job. You did fine. We all like it. Well, come on, we're gonna keep on
Well,
going.
I
now.
mean, if somebody wants to swing with Granny, they sure enough can. There's big enough room on the porch
Hey,
swing.
I think that it
You
is
gotta break that
awesome
swing.
that Granny likes to swing. Okay, you go, Granny. She probably knows all kinds of stuff.
Of course she
We
does.
don't know. Yeah, she knows all the things. So I mean,
How the hell you think y'all got here? Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Even the macho man respects his grandmother.
Doubt it.
Granny's got stories, man. Granny's got stories.
Schooner.
Tessa looked out. Wait a minute. No, Tessa looked out at the crowd. Their voices, a low hum mixing with the sounds of the forest. She had always loved those sounds.
And I'm not drinking water this time.
The great American cock gobbler in the background. She and Jacob would lie on the ground for hours listening to them, talking about their future together. But as she looked at her pack around the fire, their future hadn't worked out quite like they dreamed. Well,
Can everyone
That made me
gather
laugh.
around now?
can everyone please gather around now? Listen to my friend Andy.
Yes. Yes.
I love Andy.
He's back.
Yes.
Tell him, Red.
Sean's booming alpha tone had her shaking off the memories of her and Jacob and turning her attention to the crowd, gathering closer around the huge bonfire. As many of you know, I remember the first time I saw Andy at Shawshank. Almost 4 years ago. Jacob Murphy and I fought for alpha position. And Andy, well, he took bitch. Jacob lost. Barely, if I had to admit. He almost had me. Since he lost, Jacob was banished from the pack. Tessa looked over to the lodge, and it gave her strength to see Jacob standing there watching her. He gave her one nod, because, well, she's a watcher, which she returned. She knew what he was saying with that nod, and would take it to heart. Wait a minute, who's this? Is it still him?
Him again. Yeah.
It's still him.
Had Jacob remained in Shawshank, he and Tessa Cafferty would have been mated. The one, never mind, I'm not going to go down. As it were, Hannah, whom he loved and adored, is as a result of their partial mating. After the deaths of Tessa's parents, she took Hannah away for a while to gather herself, which I supported. And Andy stood there, looking like a dumbass.
Watch it. Just watch it.
Along the way, she met back up with Jacob, quite by accident. But was it an accident? Or was it fate herself putting them together? Knowing they were fated to... Oh, I'm supposed to still be reading that. Never mind.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Let's go.
All right.
Go on. You're good.
The crowd started talking in hushed tones again, and Tessa strained to hear them. But Sean started speaking again. God, this guy's full of wind and shit.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
The elders got word that Tessa and Jacob had found each other. And they were going to do the final mating ceremony, but old Andy, well, he cock-blocked them. He'd been in prison a long while. Jacob's new pack. They have threatened to banish Tessa and wipe her family's name from the history of the pack. The crowd's grumbling started getting louder, and Sean worked to quiet them down. Tessa's here to defend herself to the elders and the pack. I asked that she be heard and get Andy out of her crotch. Sean stepped away from the fire, nodding to Tessa, who stepped in the middle close to the fire and turned toward the group of men gathered. They all thought they had full deciding ability of what went on in this pack. Boy, was Tessa going to prove them wrong. Her eyes moved to two of them. They were her second cousins. No shit. They're all fucking related.
Crap, it's Alabama.
I was going to say, this family tree.
When-
You got tail. You
Yeah.
got tail.
Jeez.
I do
When they
have a-
refused to... Oh, go ahead.
No. Continue. No.
When they refused to meet her gaze, she sighed and shook her head. Wait a minute, who's this?
Check.
It's her.
Oh, many of you may think I'm here to defend myself in this decreed by our elders. You would be wrong. I'm here to remind the elders that my great-grandfather, Aiden Cafferty, was one of the founding members of this pack. I'm related to myself and half this pack in one way or another.
It is
I'm my
Alabama.
own grandfather's grandmother, and there's nothing you can do about it. If they remove my name, my family's name from its history, they remove your name as well. Everything you've done for this pack will be forgotten. Tessa stopped a moment, watching the crowd, hearing their mumbled voices. No one, not one of them, had thought of that. She looked over her shoulder at the two elders standing behind her, then turned fully around, addressing them personally.
Drop that soap, baby. Drop
Can't
that
you
soap.
wait? We're in the middle of a meeting. Charles and Michael, you are my second cousins, brothers, sisters, grandfathers, and my
Roommate.
family.
Roommate.
Whether or not you vote for this decree, you will no longer be able to serve as elders to the pack. Have you even thought of that? By the looks on their faces, she could tell that the thought hadn't even crossed their minds. Nice stand with Tessa. She whirled around at the sound of Jacob. Oh, this is Jacob. Oh.
Yeah.
That's
That works.
that works.
I stand with Tessa. She whirled around at the sound of Jacob's voice, but couldn't see him. Sean had heard him, too, and turned looking for him, then caught Tessa's eye, nodding toward the pack. Turning, Tessa was stunned by her open, gaping maw dropping to the moment just before she got on her knee. Oh, wait, no. Moments before she closed it again.
No, you
habit.
got it right. She was.
It's
yeah.
habit. It's habit.
right.
It's
Before
habit.
she dropped to her
That's
knees.
how it goes.
The pack was dividing itself, parting slowly until her family, anyone with Cafferty blood running through their veins, moved to one side. When everyone had divided, only a few families stood on her left, but most of the pack stood to her right. Going to the right, going to the left. Oh, that takes us into a dark story.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it
You do
does.
the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what you do.
It's not that kind of story. Not
Does
that
anybody
kind of
else want to?
story.
Do you want to read Miss Nocturne?
I will sure.
Finish this out.
Yes, I sure will.
Yeah. We'll just
Now,
take
I
that.
do have a quick question.
Mm.
We have. There's cock blocker, right?
Uh-huh.
So if a guy is trying to get with somebody, you're a cock blocker if you get in their way.
Yeah.
But what if the chick is trying to get with them? Is it like a
It's still a cock
land
block.
blocker,
No, it's
Yeah.
or
still a cock
is
block.
it like a
It's still a
No.
cock block, but it's technically a catcher's mitt.
okay?
Chicks can be cock blocks too. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Just
It's
okay.
a spider web in the twinkly cave.
No, that's something else. That's something else.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute.
Well, so far we're doing so good. We haven't actually got yeah.
What?
we haven't pissed off Mom yet, apparently.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Okay. Good.
In the chat, yeah. Yep.
Tess is right. If you erase the Cafferty name from the pack's history, then there is no pack. Sean stepped in front of the larger crowd, crossing his arms over his large chest. You are the alpha. One of them elders stepped forward. You sat there and agreed with our decision. Sean laughed, shaking his head. Your memory is slipping on you, Charles. I sat there and told you it was ridiculous and it wouldn't stand up with the pack. What I did agree to was that it be me who went to bring Tessa home. Tears filled Tessa's face, or tears filled Tessa's eyes. Ears. Yeah.
Close. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth,
Look, I'm
fingers.
old.
Whatever.
She got filled every which way.
I can't tell,
Right.
but I'm old, okay? So, anyway, Tessa's eyes as she gave Sean a watery smile. How had she doubted him? Then she looked around the gathering but didn't see Hannah nor Jacob. He had told her that he was going to get her from one of Tessa's cousins, then come back to the gathering, but she didn't see them. She prayed that he wasn't seen by anyone except her cousin. She'd hoped he wasn't locked up. But then, where was Hannah? Her heart started to beat frantically in her chest, her eyes darting around the crowd, then skimming the tree line. Where were they? She looked to Sean, and then he shook his head as if he'd read her mind. Frowning, she'd reached in her
Prison pocket.
pocket for her phone, then remembered she had left it on Sean's desk. Just her luck. A true panic was starting to hit her until she heard the pack starting to talk, the noise level getting higher. Turning, she saw Jacob walking out of the trees carrying their daughter. Several enforcers stepped up, stopping him. She watched as Jacob looked over at Sean, then the enforcers. Let him pass. Without a glance to Sean again, the enforcers stepped aside, and Sean carried Hannah to stand next to Sean. He looked at Tessa and gave her his sexy half smile, where just the corner of his mouth lifted, but his eyes twinkled. Oh, yeah. She smiled wide until one of the elders spoke up. That wolf was banned from the pack 3 years ago. What is he doing here? Why haven't the enforcers escorted him off pack land before now? Tessa's turned. The Tessa turned. The original doctrine was signed by all the founding families, state that a mate to one of the Caffertys cannot be banned. They can be reprimanded, but they cannot be banned. Jacob and I, oh shit, no.
Yes,
okay, whatever. Jacob and I are mated. Our daughter Hannah is proof of that. We still need to complete the ceremony, but we are mated. What original doctrine? We were under the impression that the founding contract and all the journals were gone, moved through the years to the point that no one knows where they are. Okay, so
Sean.
She is now. Is this Sean?
This is Sean. Yeah.
Okay. My father found them and kept them in his safe. Sean finally stepped up to stand by Tessa's side. I will make sure these are available for the whole pack to read, but I looked through them before this meeting. My father put too much faith and power in his hands of the elders. The original doctrine clearly states that the elders can and cannot do. Up until now, I didn't realize what he did. I do now.
Still Sean.
Okay. As Alpha of Wolf Creek Pack, I order each elder to take time to review everything that we found and familiarize themselves with everything. As Alpha, I revoke your ruling that banishes Jacob from the pack. Hence, Tessa and I and him are no longer in danger of being a threesome, of losing everything you wanted to take away from her.
And that brings us to chapter 14.
All right, let's see how we're going to do this.
I think this is the final chapter, too.
Oh, is it?
I think
Yeah,
so.
take us to church, Volstorm.
Well, that's what I planned on doing now.
Give us
Just
rain,
kind of
brother.
had that feeling.
We gotta have
All this sinning.
Give
If I could just get the
shotgun
organ to
wedding
warm
to
up
do.
the congregation, yes.
You
Oh,
need
preacher, tell
that love and feeling.
Jacob woke and he
Right,
listened to
right.
the sounds around him. Tessa lay next to him, curled up his side,
Yeah.
snoring softly in their den of sin. He could hear Hannah in her room mumbling softly in her sleep, but outside he didn't hear anything. His wolf instantly came to attention, as it does with all men first thing of a morning. As Jacob slowly got out of bed, trying not to wake Tessa. She had a rough couple of days. They all had, but she needed to get her rest.
The feelings?
She's going to need a rest for what's going to happen after.
He grabbed his jeans, a t-shirt, and a towel to wipe off with. He walked into the living room and put them on. He went to the front door, opening it. Jacob stepped out onto the front porch, the night air chilly and the wood cold under his feet.
That's a big wood.
It's a lot of wood, y'all. It's a lot of wood.
It's under his feet. Either his short legs.
He was dragging it around is what he was doing. The forest around Tessa's place was quiet. It was eerily quiet. Someone or something was close, but he couldn't smell a damn thing. Oh. Jacob growled when he saw the dark figure approaching the house. The figure stopped a moment and shined a flashlight right in his face. Jacob relaxed when he saw Sean shaking his head and running his hands through his hair like some little male Jezebel. Fuck, Sean, I was about to shift and tear you apart. Sean chuckled as he walked up the steps to the porch. You didn't beat me last time. What makes you think you're going to beat me again?
Damn temptation.
Temptation.
Jacob laughed as he sat down in one of the chairs Tessa had on the porch. Sean dropping down in beside him. Too soon, man. Too soon to bring up that shit. Yes, sir.
Why you don't do that? Why you won't bring it?
Sean laughing with him and nodded. You got that right. What damn time is it anyway?
Damn.
Too early in the fucking morning.
Baby oil time.
Jacob watched Sean shrug. It's early, maybe 4 o'clock. Jesus, Sean, why are you doing here so early? Why you got to be waking me up? Why you got to be here before the crack of dawn?
Why the hell you blaspheming, boy?
What is wrong with you, boy?
You know what?
Tessa and I just got to bed ourselves maybe 3 hours ago. Went to sleep about 30 minutes ago. He heard Sean chuckle and then watched as he settled back into the chair as if he was staying in the spot for a while. Jacob sighed and settled back too. Might as well get comfortable. Might as well get so comfortable in the midnight air. And by the way, why the hell are you here at 4 o'clock in the morning?
God.
Is he naked?
Had to listen to whatever the hell Sean had to say. I want you to know I looked for you. I even hired a private investigator.
Oh,
Stalker?
that's some
Jacob
stalker shit.
couldn't have been more shocked by that statement. The two of them had been like brothers growing up together. They were united as one. They were friends, holding hand in hand, running through the field. Wait, that's something else.
There's a rainbow somewhere in here.
Wait a minute. They were running through the meadows and the forest surrounding the compound. Dear Lord, there's so much sinning going on here. There was the 3 of them. Tessa had been bored one day and was following her older cousin around, irritating him, bugging him, worrying the shit out of him until he agreed that she could go with him and Jacob.
Ooh.
Those had been the fun days, Jacob thought. The days that they were free without a care in the world. Things didn't get complicated until Jacob and Tessa discovered that they wanted to sin.
Sin, baby, sin.
They had spent more and more time together as a couple, and the times that Sean would join them became few and far between, much to his dismay.
Wow,
I said
all
more
3 of them.
threesome.
She couldn't handle it
I
all.
have a headache.
He said, I covered my tracks pretty well. Once it actually sank in, I would never be able to get to Tessa. I started covering my tracks, zigzagging all across the country, taking on different names until I rode into Grady, Illinois. I was tired of being on the road and got in a hotel room, then went to a bar across from the hotel, and then picked up the prostitute from the bar and took her home, and her name was Lorna. That's where I met Max Trucker, Sheriff and Alpha. After a couple beers, he convinced me to stay. Sean nodded and they felt silent for a moment. The horizon was starting to turn a bluish red and the forest was coming alive. This was the one thing Jacob had missed living in Illinois. Colorado had the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets. Illinois was full of sin and crap.
In Chicago.
We love Illinois.
You know, Chicago.
You know.
Although beautiful in its own right, it was not Colorado because Colorado has a much less rate of crime. What are you two doing out here? Tessa stepped out onto the porch wearing nothing but a sweatshirt and crawled into Jacob's lap, shivering as she did. Go back to bed, Tessa. You don't need to be up. Sean and I were just having some guy talk about the days that the three of us spent together. She yawned in the middle. She yawned in the middle of her statement, and Jacob shook her head. Jacob shook his head. I said his head. Yes. I actually came over to talk to Jacob. I persuaded the elders to change their decree, and you are no longer banished from the pack.
Amen.
It's not because it's not because you made it to a founding family member. You weren't a danger to me when you lost. We would have still been friends. It's a stupid ass law anyway, and as Alpha, I've decided to make a stand and abolish it. Yes, sir.
Why did you do it 3 years ago? You son of a bitch.
No shit.
3 years too late,
Loving
jackass.
is a little weird.
Well, because that would have ended the story, and the credits would have rolled.
Right, I know. Because the story
Jake,
happened.
yeah. Jacob looked at Tessa, who was looking at him with wide eyes. He could feel her heart beating it hard against her chest, or maybe that was him. And he started to comb through her tangled hair with his fingers. He never thought he'd be allowed to be a part of the pack again, so it wasn't something he dwelled on. The Grady pack had taken him in, so he hadn't missed having a pack. The only thing he wanted back was in his arms right then, right now.
Sinning.
Oh, that sin.
So it'll be like he never left. Jacob heard the hopeful note in her voice. Yep, it would be exactly like that.
Oh,
What if you don't want to be a part of this pack anymore? It turned its back on both of us, especially when Tessa was pregnant. How do I know it won't happen again? Sean and Tessa both looked at him. What? It's a legitimate concern. It's been on my mind. It's been on my heart. It's not something that just goes away, damn it.
Don't break my heart.
It's a
Don't break my heart
lust.
again.
Lust is a sin.
Don't break my heart again.
My wolf's got to have his mate, if you know what I mean.
Lust is a sin. You got to fight it. You got to fight it.
But it's Hannah's pack. I absolutely appreciate Max's offer to be a part of the Grady pack, but it's her history here. Maybe we can all be a part of both packs. Oh my Lord, the coming together of the tribes. Yes, sir.
No more interbreeding.
Yay!
No more separation. No more segregation. No more being so far apart. Yes, sir.
Bigger parties.
Tessa looked at Sean, who nodded. I have no problem with that. I can talk to Max if you want me to. Jacob looked at both of them, sighed, pulled Tessa a little closer so he could kiss her and cover up his obvious erection. If that's what Tessa wanted, then that's what he would do. She was right. This is where Hannah's history was, and she could make new memories and traditions with them in the Grady pack as well. All right, but I can talk to Max. I know he won't have a problem. Thank you, Sean, for giving us that. I know it had to be so hard to go against the elders, to turn over the tables, and to whip them money changes.
Go in hard. Beat that stick
And
around.
the devil said, let it be so hard, y'all.
Sean
Oh, here
stood
it
up and
comes.
laid hands on Jacob. It was hard. That's why you owe me.
Oh,
Jacob.
so hard.
So hard.
So hard.
Jacob chuckled
Lay
and
your hands on
shook
me.
his head. I knew there was going to be a catch. I want you to be one of my head enforcers.
That's right.
There would be the two of you, and it would lessen the burden of overseeing them every day. Well, who is the other one? Ben Kelly, he said. Jacob groaned and shook his head. He's back. I didn't see him. Yes, he's back, but he keeps to himself. He's living in the cabin at the far west border of the Packland. I'd like to have someone closer too. You living here would be perfect, right by my side, right where I can watch you, where I can
Right
peer through your
beside me,
window and
baby.
see what's going on.
Right
How
behind
did
you.
Joe back know?
Well, I'll have to think about it and possibly order some shutters and blinds. Sean, I have my own shop in Grady. I'd have to figure out the logistics. Yes, he would. Sean nodded as he started to leave. Do that and get back to me. It would be really helping me out.
Get to my back.
Jacob and Tessa sat there in silence with lust in their eyes, watching Sean leaving and thinking of the possibilities. The sun finally sending out its first rays through the forest in the area around Tessa's home. Well, it would be his home now, too. Would he get used to that? What's going on in that little overactive brain of yours, little wolf? Tessa smiled, turning her head to look at him. I'm happy. Are you? She nodded. Then it's settled. We will split our time between here and there. I'll hire a couple guys to help me out the shop so I can be gone.
Yeah. See,
Nice.
I told you this was the kind of, yeah.
Her smile widened and his heartbeat quickened. How could he have gotten so lucky? He had the most beautiful mate to be the cutest and the cutest, smartest daughter. Where he had been banished, he felt like his life was over. Even after moving to Grady and starting a new life, it was never truly satisfying. He had been getting restless. Something he had never shared with Max and Lorna. But fate had decided he'd had enough and brought back his life to him. Yes, it did. He was lost in the wilderness. He was out in Grady, but the law brought it back. Yes, he did.
Found. He was found.
He would never do anything to jeopardize that again. I love you, Jacob. Jacob focused back on Tessa and smiled. I love you too, little wolf. Why don't we go back in and show each other how much we love each other? You know what I'm saying, baby girl? Yeah. They were going into sin. Tessa grinned. We'll have to be back. Hen doesn't sleep very late in the mornings. We're going to have to make this quick, boy. Jacob stood, tossed Tessa over his shoulder, smacking her ass. Yes, he did. Left a little welt mark right on the bottom. Jacob put me down. I can walk. Not when I get done with you, girl. No, you can't. No, I'm not taking any chances that you'll get away from me again. He nipped at her hip, and she laughed, squirming in his arms. He just smacked that ass and carried her inside. Hopefully, he'd have enough time to do exactly what he wanted to do to her. If not, there was always nap time and bedtime later. One way or another, he would have what he wanted, and what he wanted was to tap that ass. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Sweet relief.
Puddle Town with the $5 my talent so Pastor can pay off those Jezebels and buy a new caddy.
That's right. Pastor needs a new caddy. Yes, he does.
For the church of the back door.
That's right.
Amen. Amen.
Some old bling bling.
Hey,
Man.
hey,
He's got saved all our souls.
Keep an eye on those sinners, preacher.
That's right.
Keep an eye on them sinners.
Because if he ain't dressed in gold, I ain't sold.
That's
Right.
That's right. That's right, Brother Yamaha.
He ain't no preacher man.
He's preaching to me.
Oh Lord.
Well, we have finished up another TJ Finn book, and this is our whole chat right here. We do this every Sunday. We got Dictionary Diva, Yamaha Biker, Kaiser Pineapple, Volstorm, and the lovely Miss Nocturna. Sometimes we'll also have the lovely Welsh Lady Reads come in and read with us. Also, she is from my favorite part of Scotland called Wales. And thank you guys so much for being here tonight. And we will make sure you check everyone's those links up in the stream, and we're gonna call it a night and see you guys. Have a good Sunday.
Thank y'all.
Peace out.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.